Okay, so now I am in the fifth grade, and I'm just going to rewind and tell a couple little stories before I move on to the sixth grade. In the fifth grade, that was the year that I was living with my mom in Greenbrier. I would go to my grandma's every other weekend, and the weekends that I wasn't at my grandma's, I was supposed to go to my dad's, and there was times that I did go to my dad's, but yeah, there was a lot of times that I just waited for him and he never showed up. Of course, there was a lot going on with my dad's, and my dad and my stepmom, they were not getting along very well, so there was that. But whenever I would go to my grandmother's on the weekends, my grandparents, they gave me throughout my fourth grade year and my fifth grade year, they would still give me an allowance. And it wasn't like an allowance for anything I did. I just got $5 a week for going there. And I would give it to my great grandmother and she would save it for me. And then around Christmas time, I would get out all my money and try to buy presents for everyone. And it never was like very good presents. I remember one year I got my aunt an alarm clock for Christmas. So I don't know what she thought, but I just wanted to get everybody a present. So that was something that I did in my fifth grade year. And I do remember one time, my fifth grade year, my aunt asking if I wanted to stay the night with her on one of my dad's weekends. And I was like, yeah, I do. And she was like, well, I'm going to come pick you up right after school. Can I pick you up from school? And I was like, I guess. And she's like, well, you need to go ask your mom and make sure that your mom knows and that it's okay. And I ran back there and I asked my mom, and she was just like, yeah, that's fine. Go with your aunt. So the next day I was excited. I had a bag of stuff that I took to school with me, and my aunt picked me up and we went to her house and we rented a movie and we got some popcorn and candy, and I was just having fun watching, just one of those really good wholesome movies. It was a movie about a seal. I think Homeward Bound was one that we rented because we loved that movie. We loved animal movies. Then my stepdad showed up at my aunt's house, like beating down the door, and was beyond angry and mad. This is not the same stepdad that had my little brother, the father of my brother. My mom divorced him. This is the new stepdad, the one that was an apartment manager. And I don't know what he did now, but I know that he was like gone most of the time. And I remember he would yell at me in my face in his breath. Like, I'm making the face now, but he hated that face that I would make. Whenever he would yell at me, I would make that face, and oh gosh, it would make him even more angry because his breath would stink. Oh my gosh, his breath stank so bad, and it was like right there in my nose, and I had really good smelling. So I couldn't help it. I would flinch whenever he would yell at me in my face and his breath stank. But anyway, he comes and picks me up from my aunt's house and like throwing a fit, saying that I was about to call the law on you for kidnapping and everything. And so we go to, I don't know, I remember we went to my grandma's house and my grandpa pacing up and down, and I felt so bad. I felt awful for creating all this because they all the adults decided that this was on the child. We shouldn't have, like, they told my aunt, you shouldn't have had her ask your mom. You should have asked her mom. And obviously she didn't ask her mom, but she told us that she did because my mom insisted she did not ask me. No, I would have known. I did ask her. Yeah, I did ask her. That one, I've had to forgive my mama over and over again for, because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, she was like on drugs or something. She wasn't remembering. I don't know what it was, but it really frustrates me that happened. And that was in my fifth grade year. And in my sixth grade year, I started school in Greenbrier, and I was doing really good. I had my friend group, and I was looking forward to normal high school stuff. And my mom was like, we're moving. And, it was like no explanation to me. We're moving to Hot Springs. And I was like, what? And it turns out she was divorcing my stepdad. She was getting a divorce, and her mother was like, she said that her mother would only help her if she moved to Hot Springs. And I've I never did like my grandmother for that. And I was like, of course, she's not going to think about me or anything, because she's still mad at me that I'm the reason that her husband died, But it had nothing to do with that. And once I grew up and realized my grandmother's relationship with my mother was very dynamic, and I just didn't understand as a kid. And but moving again was, at that time, I was angry. I was just nothing but angry at my mom. Like, I just became angry at my mom for every little thing. And she said that she divorced him because he was into drugs. He was doing drugs. Well, the place that we got to live in Hot Springs, she was doing drugs. I know she was, because I seen them on her desk. I saw it was like a silver platter with white powder and little, rolled a little straw, a little cut straw, and a shaving thing. And I mean, I knew then, like, in my little head, it was like, this is cocaine. It could have been anything, Now that I'm older and I have experience with drugs, it just because white powder doesn't mean it's cocaine, but I thought it was cocaine. At the time, in that place, we never had food, ever really had food. And I remember me and my little brother would walk to the local grocery store to steal ramen noodles and potatoes. We lived on like potatoes and what the school fed us. We lived on what the school fed us, but the weekends were hard. We would have to have our potatoes, and I remember me and my brother made this potato soup with, like, we just took potatoes and water and like boiled them until they were soupy, and just put all the freaking spices in the counter to make potato soup. And it was not yummy at all. And we were like, well, that did not work out. So we learned a lesson together there. I did not do very good at this school. This school, I could not make friends. Most schools I was able to make friends, but for some reason in Hot Springs, I could not make friends, really. And that was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't fun. At first, whenever I was first there, my aunt and my cousins were not living there at all whenever I was there. And my mom, she started a phone service, so she would be on the phone doing that kind of stuff. And then she started she had all kinds of boyfriends. Yeah, she had all kinds of boyfriends. Some I liked, some I didn't like, but they were nice to me. And then the thing that I couldn't stomach and I couldn't handle was, we were living in this tiny little trailer, and she was having sex with guys, and she would have sex with them in the living room sometimes at night, and like right outside my bedroom, and I would hear it, and it would make me sick to my stomach. I remember one time she sat down and talked to me about it and was like, sex is natural and it's okay, and you shouldn't feel that way. Well, I do feel this way. I remember thinking that, and she was being so dismissive of me. And for me, that was just like, this is it. This is the last straw. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I got on the phone and I called DHS and I said, my mama is a prostitute and she's got cocaine in her bedroom and she's really mean to us and we ain't got no food and it's really bad, blah, 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 blah. Well, actually, before I called DHS, which I don't know if anybody ever knows that I'm the one that called. I don't know if my mom knows that. But before I called DHS, I did beg her to go live with my grandma. And she was like, I don't understand why you want to live with your grandma. She had her turn to raise kids. It's my turn, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you obviously don't want to raise us. But I guess I wasn't really thinking about my little brother. I was just thinking about me. But yeah, I called DHS, and I went to live with my grandma, and he went to live with his grandma. He went to live with Granny B, is what we called her, and I went to live with my mama, who I loved, my mama. And I remember my mom, whenever I was like asking her if I could live with my mama, she was like, "You even call her mama? That's weird." which I guess it is, but it's my life, and I don't expect my mom to understand it. I don't really understand her life. So why would she understand mine? But yeah, I've had to do a lot of healing work with this year of my life. It was not an easy year. I do get to go back to live with my grandparents, and that was fun. That was great for me. I was, late to the season in Bologna, and that is a small town school that doesn't really like you if you're not one of them. And I was like, I'm one of y'all. Y'all kidding me? I'm one of y'all. I started kindergarten here. I was here in 4th grade. I'm one of y'all. Y'all just forgot. Y'all about to remember. And I don't know. I was not popular by any means. I did not hang out with the popular kids, but I was popular in that everybody knew me and everybody got to know me, and I was very sociable, and I really liked Bologna School a lot better. The Hot Spring School, it seemed like they were more focused on the football team and athletics. They did teach, and yeah, they were very uppity about their teaching and stuff. But Bologna, it's like even the cool kids are nerds, So I really enjoyed that about Bologna, and I was happy that I got to move there. Yeah, and at that trailer that my mom had been living at, and in the woods there was this camper place, and me and my cousins and my brother broke into it, and we're messing around with everything in this camper. These people, I don't even know whose it was, but we were into it, and it's not really right, but yeah, really that was the next summer. That was my 6th grade summer that we started getting into the camper and stuff, and we got into a lot of mess my 6th grade summer. My 6th grade summer, we because I lived with my grandma, and then now my brother is now living back with mom, and she's still in the same trailer park. I now, with living with my grandma during the school years, I go see my mom's during the summer, and that summer my cousin is now living there, and she would come over and we would get into everything. I remember one night we ended up smoking a whole carton of cigarettes in the little shed outside, and just all night long talking. And at one point we convinced my little brother to put a whole pack of cigarettes in his mouth, and we lit it up, and we thought it was so funny, and he coughed it out, and then we smoked all those cigarettes, and we ended up smoking a whole carton that night. Oh my gosh, because we were still in one pack out of my mom's carton. She'll never notice one pack gone. Yeah, she'll notice one pack gone. And then we did that all night long until there was none left. And that's the kind of dynamic that I had with my cousin. It was really crazy. It's like whenever me and her got together, it was like, F all the rules, let's go full throttle. Really crazy. But there you have it, my 6th grade year. It was a very crazy year, very dynamic. So I hope that you enjoyed listening today, and I'll be seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching my testimony. I appreciate all of you. I just want to put a disclaimer here at the end. This testimony is based off my memories and how I remember it, and memories can get convoluted, distorted. So maybe not all the details are factual, and it's not a completely factual story, but it's still my story and my truth. And I really appreciate all of you for watching. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching my story. That's all she got.